You are listening to one of the most prolific podcasts. I'm Caleb.
It's your boy DT.
And I'm Ken.
We are the Mind Report.
Here to push your mind and change your thoughts.
Oh man, another week, another lesson, another blessing. I'm extremely blessed to be here with my brothers, getting the word out, transforming minds 1 week at a time. So without further ado, I'm your host, Ken.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm DT.
I just want to thank everybody for supporting us throughout the countries that we listen to, throughout the cities, the different states that we listen to. We really appreciate y'all. We really appreciate all the support, all the love, the comments, everything. It never goes unnoticed. It's really a major blessing just to be here every week with my brothers, talking on different topics, sharing our mindsets on different things, and really opening other people's minds. And DT, I got a question for you, bro. What's going to be the thought of the day?
We're going to be talking about leadership. And I think this is something that a lot of people actually need to be able to comprehend and understand what is leadership. Right. Now, before you are a leader, success all starts about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Being a great leader is all about having a genuine willingness and a true commitment to lead others to achieve a common vision. So everybody's on the same page. I'm not on page 30 and you're not on page 1. Everybody moving to the same beat of the drum and with the goals through a positive influence. Like no leader can ever achieve anything great or long lasting alone. And they say if you want to do something good, do it by yourself. But if you want to do something exceptional, you got to do it with other people. Right. But you have to be able to be that leader to actually lead other people in the right direction. It's not so much you leading from the front, but you leading from being on side of people and y'all all going towards the same goal and going towards the same direction. And just because someone had a title of leader doesn't mean they are a leader. Yeah, I might be ruffling some feathers with that one. Just because you do have that title don't mean you are that. Right. Because a lot of people fall into the trick of management versus leadership. A manager gonna ask what you doing, but a leader gonna ask how you doing. Two totally different things. Right. What is the most important characteristic to have in leadership?
The most important thing to have in a leadership is just good energy. Your energy always got to be at a higher standard because other people's energy may be low. And that's your job as a leader to guide people where they need to be, get everybody on the same level, get people motivated, get people up. That's your job. So I just think that your energy just has to be high. There's going to be sometimes leaders are faced with tough challenges, and sometimes your energy have to be level-headed. Sometimes it's not always good to let your emotions get and factor with your decision that you have to make, especially if it's a tough decision. Sometimes you have to think what's best for the situation and not your emotions. So I just think your energy definitely has to be a thing to have when you're talking about leadership.
I would say the most important characteristic to have when being a leader is your ability to teach, guide, and also the genuineness of wanting to do whatever you're doing. If you're not genuine with it, then it's always going to be like Caleb say, your energy going to always be off because you don't really want to do it. You got to genuinely have a desire and a willingness to do whatever you're doing, lead the pack. You got to be able to guide and you got to be able to teach. Mm-hmm. If you can't guide me and you can't teach me, then you're not leading me. And I'm not following you. The top 3 characteristics for me to have is ability to teach, ability to guide, and genuinely wanting to do whatever it is that you're doing.
The question that a lot of people who inspiring, because leadership is one of the highest paid endeavors in life, whether it be career wise or business wise. The question that you need to ask is, what are you looking for? If you're a leader, you need to observe the things you want around you, and you need to be very zero tolerant for the people that you want around you. So I know when I was into leadership, I didn't never hire anybody just because of the skills they had. I didn't even look at your resume when I was talking to you. I look at the kind of attitude that you have because I can teach you skills later on. But if I have somebody who's skillful around me, guess what? The humility factor goes out the door, because now you're not willing to learn. I'm willing to learn. I'm a lifelong learner.
Right.
I don't care who I'm learning from, because age, it doesn't matter when you're trying to learn about becoming a better you.
Right.
And that's what leadership is. You molding people to become better versions of themselves. So when I say the best characteristic about leadership, you just got to have a good attitude. And I think overall, servitude, you got to have the ability to serve. And I'm big on serving leadership, because you got to be able to serve the people that's around you. You need to be focusing more on others than yourself, or being served by others. Good leaders, they meet people where they are, and then they climb to the top alongside of them rather than charging ahead of the pack. I found myself wanting a lot of people around me more successful than, me just wanting success for myself. It's servitude and then attitude.
Right.
It's the two things that I feel like are two characteristics that you should have in any type of leadership.
So I'm gonna tell y'all about the sheets and the wolves, right? Y'all done heard about that?
Nah.
The sheets and the wolves. You Caleb?
Never heard about that one.
So the wolves are the individuals that go out and get the shit and bring it back to the rest of the group. They're the ones you get your resources from. They try things first and learn lessons to teach others. They're the risk takers, the go-getters, right? Then you have the sheep, who are the ones who retain all the resources. The wolves bring back. So they're mostly like the reserved individuals. You know what I'm saying? They on the reserve side of things. They get the information and apply it, and they make shit shake with the information that they're brought back. Right? In order for the sheeps to move, they have to get the information from somewhere in order to make a move on anything. Without the information or the resources being brought back to them, they aren't going to move at all. I'm going to tell y'all this before I go any further. It's nothing wrong with being a wolf, and it's nothing wrong with being a sheep. Both of them get shit done. It's nothing wrong with being a wolf. It's nothing wrong with being a sheep. The problem is a lot of people are sheep. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it, nothing like that. However, the problem comes in when sheeps only surround themselves with other sheeps. You in the clique of 9 individuals, and every last one of y'all have a sheep mentality. That's a problem, because who's going out getting the information, bringing it back to the crew? You know what I'm saying? So
Play your part.
right. In order for some shit to work, you have to have some type of wolf or wolves around you for your benefit. You cannot sit up with a group of sheeps all day and expect to elevate in life. It won't work. You have no leaders in your circle, and that needs to change.
I think personally, everybody play a position
Right.
in leadership, because you have to be a follower before you can ever become a good leader.
Right.
You got to basically model somebody who's worth modeling.
Right.
And once you get that factor down, then you can start to implement the things that they taught you how to do, so you can build up more leaders. And I think
Right. That's true.
great leaders create more leaders, not followers.
Right.
I think we was having this conversation the other day with any company, there should just be a stepping stone. You shouldn't see yourself at any company for 20, 30, or 40, or 50 years. There should be a stepping stone for you to get to your next level of your life.
Right.
If you stagnant, what are you really learning?
Right.
As far as like leadership, and as far as like you wanting more out of life versus you just settling for your current situation.
Right.
And I know leadership, it elevates. It don't like retracts back. And I think you had said in the episode how your mind, once your mind is spanned, it can't contract back
Right.
to where it once was. Same
Right.
thing with leadership. Once you get to a certain level, you can't go back to level 1.
Right.
It's like you just keep moving up all the way until you get to the point of pinnacle leadership, and where people follow you because they trust, they love, and they know whatever you say, you mean whatever you say.
Right.
So that's the top of the top. I feel like a lot of people find themselves so messed up when it comes to management, and then when it comes to leadership. Now, management will try to keep you in your current situation, but leadership will try to push you out of your current situation, because I want you to do way much more better from me, not with me. That's the two things. And I think that management is doing things right, and leadership is doing the right things.
How do you deal with poor leadership? Because I know everyone can't be great leaders, and being a leader is not for everyone.
I would say we all grown. You pick and choose who you want to follow. You pick and choose who you want to lead. It's the same with people, having people around you. I can't control you as an individual. I can't control your leadership skills, but I can control if I'm behind you or not. poor leadership skills, I'm not a follower of that individual. In order to lead me, you got to meet some type of qualifications of my own. I don't care about no qualifications. You got to be in the leader position. But for me as an individual, if your leadership skills ain't beneficial to me, if it's not to my liking, then I'm not following you.
And me personally, I don't fall into the negativity of poor leadership. I take it and turn it into a positive. If I see poor leadership or if I feel poor leadership around me, guess what? You showing me exactly who I don't want to be or what I don't want to do.
Right.
So I'm just basically just taking notes off the wrongdoings of you so I can better myself.
Right.
And I think that kind of count as a mentor.
I mean,
A bad mentor, because you learn from good mentors and you learn from bad mentors about what you want to implement and then what you don't want to implement, how you build up people and then how you tear down people. So I kind of feel like you have to take the bad at the situation and then just turn it positive. Because like I said, I'm taking inventory on everything. Now, you might not know it, but you coming up short in a lot of areas. But I'm going to fulfill whatever it is that I see myself as being a leader, and I'm just turning it all the way around.
Yeah, I definitely scope the situation out, definitely want to know who I'm potentially trying to follow or just use them as an example of something. I got to know who I'm following. With dealing with leadership, I wouldn't even, like a DT, I would take notes though. If I'm seeing something that's like fishy and I see someone that's not leading in the right direction, I'm going to watch that person because, okay, now I need to know, how can I use this as an advantage of mine? I have a feeling he's doing something wrong. So let me see how this is going to play out for him.
Right.
And let me keep watching him and see how he move. Okay, now I know what not to do. I just feel like I wouldn't allow myself to get those qualities of a poor leader.
What is the hardest part about leadership?
The hardest part of leadership for me is, I would have to say, I don't want to sound mean, I would have to say making sure everybody is on the same page. As an individual, the way I see things is like, okay, I'm going to break it down for you like this here. I expect for you to get it. That's what it is. I break it down to the simplest, it's just as simple as it can be. If you don't get it, I don't be knowing what else to do. So
are you telling them or are you showing them?
It got to be both. Like I'm telling you while I'm showing you.
Okay.
And so if I'm doing both and you still don't get
some
it,
type of clarity.
And you still not getting it, I would say that would be my greatest downfall is I would say not really giving up on people, but giving up on people, if that makes sense.
The hardest part about leadership for me is cutting people off. It's kind of like a hard thing, but an easy thing at the same time, because I was living before I knew you and it can get right back to it. That's sometimes can be the hardest part because, like Ken said, sometimes it can feel like you're giving up on people. It's not necessarily giving up on people. It just, you really got to protect your energy. You really, really do. And you really can't allow certain people to come in and just be around, because a lot of people don't realize it's definitely important just to have like-minded people around you. And I think that's essential too. But the hard part about leadership is just kicking people to the curb, because it could also feel like you're giving up.
I think the hardest part is accountability. A lot of people say they want to be in leadership, but they're not accountable for the things that goes on with the team or the people that surround you.
Yeah, that's
and
a
if
good
you
one.
in leadership, how the saying go, everything rises and falls on leadership. But one thing that I do say that a lot of people need to pay attention to is just admitting when you're wrong. That's the hardest thing to do. And I think that's the hardest thing to do in and outside of leadership.
Life, period.
Yeah.
In life, period. But as a leader, you are not always supposed to be right or have the right answers or not supposed to make a mistake, because mistakes actually help you learn. And by you not having the right answers, guess what? You find some resources to find the right answer.
Right.
And I know for a fact that if you want to be a great leader, you have to be able to own up when you make a mistake. And this will make you better and set an example for the people you are leading or the people that's around you. You also get this. I want everybody to pay attention to this. Before you try to lead somebody else, can you really lead yourself? Honestly. Because if you can't lead yourself, there is no possible way you can lead anybody else.
Right.
I heard John C. Maxwell say, as a leader, the first person I need to lead is me. The first person I should try to change is me. And change starts from within. If you want to change the world, then you must start changing yourself. Only then you can go and change others. So you have to be accountable accountable, and you have to be able to lead yourself. I think those are the two main things that's the hardest part about leadership, because discipline is key. Discipline is hard, but I guarantee you it'll give you easier results.
It's extremely important to receive some type of substance as well as have some type of substance to give. Be a student of life always, as well as a teacher of it. Never stop learning. When you learn the information you're taught, share it with others, because where would you be if someone didn't share the information with you? You gotta be a role model to others. It's extremely important, especially nowadays, like with the youth and the kids in school. There's so many things that the education system don't teach children in school these days, that we as individuals and we as adults have to be the leaders and teach them the real ropes of life. And that's what it is. And like DT said, you got to be a student of life, period. A lot of times I feel like a lot of older people, they get to a certain point in life and they get in a certain space in life to the point where they're so stuck in their ways, they shut out the possibility of learning new things. You know what I'm saying? Like some people be older and they feel like whatever they do or say is right. That is the biggest downfall of a leader, is not being accountable for your wrongdoings.
Right.
Me personally, the way I feel is you should never feel like you know everything. Like it's so much to learn in life. One person cannot know every single thing. You gotta always have an open mind with certain things. You always got to keep your eyes open, your mind open, and just really have a willingness to learn and teach. That's just how you be a good leader.
I mean, you definitely have to keep your mind open, because life is a learning experience. You're consistently learning. I'm 23 years old. I'm still learning. And I'm pretty sure when I'm at the age of 54, there's still going to be some lessons for me to learn and ongoing. Life is nothing but a learning experience. Learn as much as you can. Educate as much as you can. Try and just lead. The whole point of us being here is just to live life up to the fullest. To do things that we want to do. To have visions, to chase our goals, not just settling for less. I just think it's important for everyone to just learn as much as they can so that you can apply it to your life, so that you can live your life to the fullest.
Do you think that leadership is more so influence, or is it more so authority?
I say leadership is more so influence. Like you said earlier, some leaders create other leaders, and that comes with influence because of how that particular leader is moving, because of how that particular leader is acting, by the way they handle certain challenges and just the way they interact with certain people. I just think it's more so of an influence thing, because if you have someone who's just creating a whole nother wave, a positive wave, and some people are gravitating towards that energy, I think it's more so of an influence, because now you are creating a lot of other like-minded young individuals. So now what that's doing is influencing the future, because now these kids are going to be making decisions 30, 40, 50 years down the line. Sometimes they keep that stuff going too. So I think it's more so of an influence thing.
I would say it would have to be a mixture of both. I would say you influence people that make, like Caleb said, that make people want to follow you. And also, when being a leader, sometimes you have to give authority. Like, you got to be able to make decisions. You got to be able to give orders in order to lead people, you know what I'm saying, into doing the right thing. It would have to be a mixture of both for me.
I would say more so influence. If you want people to do something better than where they currently see themselves right now, you have to have some type of positive influence on them. And what I mean by influence, influence is the things you say, it's the actions you take. I can't tell you to do something if I'm not doing it. I can't speak on something if I never done it. You influence people, you don't manage people. If you influencing people, it's kind of like I'm giving you all the resources that you need to go to the next level or whatever your level is. But if I'm managing you, like I was saying earlier, if I'm managing you, I want to manage you in this level that you at right now. I don't need you going anywhere else, because if you going anywhere else, then basically I don't have any type of control over you. So
you're like in the bubble. You're in the bubble. You can't go outside that bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get yourself so caught up in it. And then now you put limitations on people with authority, but then now you taking the lid off people with influence. I think like that's kind of like the difference in between it. But I see where Ken coming from, but I see it as a whole different perspective on it.
Yeah.
So I can say that's the difference between both of them. Going back to yourself, you gotta be able to handle yourself. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. If you listen to this, I'm gonna bang it in your head until you get it. If you want to be any place in leadership, I don't give a care if you level 1 all the way up until level 5. I think John C. Maxwell had wrote a book like that. If you're not on John C. Maxwell, go and pick up one of his books right now.
Right now,
Especially if you want to learn about leadership and what it takes to be a good proven leader, go and pick up one of his books right now. But everything starts with you. Use your head to handle any adversity that you might have going on. But to handle others, you must use your heart. Love on people. Once you love on people, people will follow you wherever you go because of the type of influence that you do have on people. So I think that leadership equals people, not people equals leadership.
Facts.
I solely believe that success depends on the ability to influence others. In return, you add value to their lives. I have some principles some leaders must live by. You can't lead people to a place you've never been. As difficult as it is to hear, we reproduce what we are, not where we want to be. You must develop yourself first. It begins with you. Experiences add value to people. If you aren't willing to experience life's highs and lows, how can your struggle become someone else's motivation if you don't develop yourself? And you have to make better decisions. You have to be confident in the decisions that you make, knowing it's for your growth and for your development. Right or wrong, there will always be a lesson that comes from it, never a loss. Notice I said, in order to make anything better, you must be able to go through something. And it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. All that matters is you get up one more time than you've been knocked down, or how many times you've been rejected. Rejection is just an opportunity for your selection. Whatever you stay focused on will grow. Focus on your development through everything, especially through all the adversity that you go through. And then, like I just said earlier, it's all about people. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. I learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will forget how you make them feel. Leadership is all a people's business, but you have to be able to love on people. Leadership is not about titles, positions. Like I just said previously, it's all about influencing one another. And I know that great leaders create more great leaders. Good leaders have a vision to inspire others, to help them turn their vision into reality. And great leaders create more leaders, not followers. Great leaders have a vision to share vision and inspire others to create their own.
A leader is the one who knows a way, goes away, and shows a way. That boy said, leadership is a choice, not a position.
The higher you want to climb, the more you need leadership. The greater the impact you make, the greater the influence needs to be. Influence is leadership, and leadership is influence. The question I ask is, are you ready to lead and not manage? Whatever you will accomplish in life is restricted to your ability to lead others. You have to invest in your leadership development. Let your assets compound your priorities, your passion, your abilities, your relationships, your attitude, and your personal disciplines, vision, as well as influence. You gotta let all that build up on each other, because once you let it build up, I guarantee you will be at the pinnacle of leadership. You will get the biggest return on your investment, which is growth and success, not only for you, but for those around you. And become the leader you are born to be, because I truly and honestly believe, if you listen to this right now, you was born to lead. Hopefully we added some type of value to your mind so you can go out there and check your thoughts. Follow us on Instagram at The Mind Report. Also stream me. Any way that you want to listen to us, we are streaming. Go and follow us right now. Like, share, comment. Matter of fact, definitely share this with somebody else, because that's the only how this get out to everybody else is if you share it with someone, and that someone share it with someone else. www.themindreportpodcast.com. I'm your host, DT.
I'm Caleb.
I'm Ken.
We are The Mind Report, and we are out.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, make sure you share it with someone else.
And be on the lookout for new episodes. And make sure you subscribe now.
This is the Mind Report.
And we are out.